Okay. Eh, um, okay. Thank you. Um, all right, guys, let's go. Let's go. Okay, okay. Let's go, let's go. Dun 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 dun. Dun dun. Hello, everybody. What's going on today? What is going on? All right. Um, Something exciting just happened with Bitcoin. I know not much about Jimmy, but it's okay. You know, Jimmy has Bitcoin too. So this is crazy. Um, pretty exciting, you know, to say the least. Of course, this type of news, obviously, it's probably perfectly timed, right? Who knows if this has been in a plan for quite some time. But Jerome Powell's speech today, you know, as you saw, nothing much, just the same BS, you know, planned statement about how, you know, oh, dual mandates, the same exact wording. And he's not going to do anything in terms of raising or you know, lowering the rate. So the rate's going to stay, it's going to stay as is for now. And in there, he was kind of like have the language of higher for longer, not higher for longer, sorry. Holding the rate for a longer period of time. So it might not even, he might not even cut in June. So perhaps we're going to have to wait until July even. So again, that's just the wordings that he was presenting. Who knows if this is just political, you know, standing that because he doesn't like Trump, right? But again, that's just my observation here. But anyway, doesn't matter. Global liquidity going crazy again, and apparently there was a secret $20 billion was bought in the treasury market. So perhaps that's Scott Bessent printing money to buy more, you know, treasury, so that treasury don't go bust. Again, this is, they call it a silent bailout, right? And this is why you see the hidden inflation that you don't see, that money just slushing around and keeping the price at as it is. You know, again, that's why, you know, when Jerome's make a statement that says, oh, price stability is what we want and all that stuff. Price stability for who? They want to keep asset price elevated, right? Doesn't matter what the economy is doing. It doesn't matter if people are laying off like crazy, right? 20 thousands and thousands of people are laying off, but for some reason, yeah, it's okay. You know, rate could still stay this high for a long time. You know, he was speaking both sides of his mouth. I was listening in, and it was like, at the same breath, he was like, the economy is strong, you know, job is still, you know, employment is very high and all that stuff. And, you know, we see no evidence of, uh, you know, any calamity that's happening. But then at the same breath, it's like, whoa, you know, people are just scared about tariffs due to tariffs. Like, it's almost like they're trying to preface you to blame it on the tariffs in and of itself because of the economy. No accountability on his own policy at all, right? And keep saying, oh, we're independent. Bull crap, you know? And again, if there's no accountability for these people's decision to either printing money, you know, a couple years ago in order to prop the market up. Sorry, 1 second. Give me 1 second. Sorry, a lot of confusing thoughts here in my head. But regardless, though, right? Everything's just gonna follow the global money supply, and that's what probably is happening right now. I mean, whether the news was because of the Bitcoin reserve pass in the state of New Hampshire's, and now Arizona. So yeah, other state might follow suit pretty quickly here. So perfect timing. Perhaps this is what's been planned all along, and it's been talked about for quite some time. And this is the culmination of, hey, this is the shift of the new monetary system here. And of course, digital currency and all that stuff is going to be the next phase, of innovation, so to speak. So I'm excited to be kind of around that time in which we can take advantage of this because we know a lot more. When I said we, I just mean myself here, because I know a lot. No, I'm just kidding. All right, sorry, you guys. I'm grinning ear to ear. I know Jimmy is there too. Hopefully, Ryan Cohen bought over here back in April. That would be amazing, right? To see that on the balance sheet. So yeah, it's coming, you guys. Oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm very optimistic about the price action in June, July, or even like in the upcoming 4 years of what's about to happen with GME, and cryptocurrency in general. Of course, this is just all about Bitcoin, right? But I think the whole industry is going to be lifted up as well because it's not just Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin is the big one, the most reliable. That's, again, the narrative, right? Proof of work and all that stuff, and the other consensus mechanism is going to be competing in the next 4 years. But for now, the show is with Bitcoin for sure, because again, when you have states level is trying to accumulate as much as they can, it's should be noted at the very least, or at least pay attention to, right? Now, I don't have too much Bitcoin. I do have other, currency. I mean, cryptocurrency, like XRP and all that stuff. But I do have some Bitcoin in which, of course, I'm not going to sell. I'm just accumulating this little by little chip here and there. But I also plan to hold some MicroStrategy, Strike, and Strife. I think that is more like stable, long term, and all that stuff. So kind of take the volatility out of it a little bit here. I mean, 10% a year is pretty wild, in my opinion. So if you're scoffing at 10% a year, I don't know what planet you've been in. But as long as the underlying asset, MicroStrategy, of course, is the biggest corporation that has Bitcoin. Now, Jimmy, I know, unless he's playing the same playbook as MicroStrategy, we could accumulate Bitcoin as quickly as possible as well. But again, I don't think that's the play for Ryan Cohen, though. Ryan Cohen, it's more like long-term building company, the best way how. And yeah, I mean, humanly possible, right? Of course, that's a challenge that he's trying to take on. But yeah, building shareholder equity too, like, to increase shareholder equity as much as he can. And yeah, adding Bitcoin is one of them, and also adding new services, goods and services that we have as well, combining with having Bitcoin as a reserve. That's also kind of amplified the shareholder equity a little bit here. I mean, not to say that it's going to be all rose from here, this run could be for a while until the next year. So yes, I mean, super cycle is going to be here. This is going to be hyped to the max. So just be careful. I know, you're going to see a lot of, people predicting 200, 300,000, 400,000, right? my price point is obviously, I think it's like somewhere in between 500 to 4. If if I were to take profit from Bitcoin, but again, this time I'm not gonna ever sell. Okay, Bitcoin. As far as XRP, obviously, that's gonna kind of follow what Bitcoin is going to do. And I think, again, altcoin season is gonna bring XRP, XLM, and some of the coins that I have going crazy as well. So, whether the next cycle, city state's gonna add other cryptocurrency as well, and not just Bitcoin here. But I think Bitcoin is a more secure because there's no way to change the code, and so that's why the I think they trust it more. But again, hopefully nothing is people are concerned about the super computer that will be able to see everybody's key. Who knows if that's going to be. But again, as important as Bitcoin now has become, it has become important, right? The network that secure the network will also be taken care of too. Because imagine if you have like tens, hundreds of trillions of dollars, eventually, in 10 years, talking about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years from now, okay? Then people are gonna naturally want to protect it, okay? So even 2 trillion is a lot of money too, right? For people to want to protect it too. Yes, criminal gonna want to hack it and try to get your Bitcoin out of your possession. But if you only hold, $100 worth of Bitcoin, I don't think people are gonna care too much to hack into your wallet here. They're targeting like the trillions and the high exchange out there that are holding Bitcoin just out of greed. Okay, so I'm sure eventually people are gonna find solution to secure the network in some way. So, but my point is, I don't worry about the cyber, security too much. In that sense. But yeah, if people learn to custody their own Bitcoin too, that's a risk that if you want to take for yourself. As far as for me, I don't secure my own Bitcoin. I just buy it on exchange, right? Robinhood or some other exchange that I have, like small amount of. So, but why am I ranting on Bitcoin here? But anyway, so welcome to the show. Sorry about that, you guys. Got carried away with Bitcoin stuff here. But yeah, so it's a very good news, to say the least. This is historical for sure. That hey, 10 years ago, people thought that this is a pipe dream, okay? that the United States would never do that. So it's big. It's big. It should be big anyway for people to start to realize, hey, Bitcoin is actually not a child play anymore. And eventually this is going to be out of reach for people. And the fact that you see Bitcoin at under $100,000, I'm telling you, this is the best price ever. The fact that GME is adding to their balance sheet in that sense. And of course, yes, like the more the better. And now there's a lot more companies that are trying to buy as much as Bitcoin as possible, right? And so hopefully Ryan Cohen, is much more bullish than I wanted him to, even though, I want him to put just half, just for safety. But yeah, I mean, it would be great if he just went all in at $6 billion, right? And then sell some at 500,000, right? And he doesn't have to keep holding it like Michael Saylor if he could time the cycle just right? And so that would be amazing. And so that would push us a lot quicker into the S&P 500, and then the rest would be history for Jimmy. But for some reason, I think that is going to be a lot more slow burned, to get people realizing, that GME is about building a company that lasts, throughout the years, decades on end here. So I think that's more of his style of doing thing in terms of my what I'm observing Ryan Cohen to be. So I wish I know him personally, so I could tell you all of his quirks and all that stuff, but I don't. Just so you know, I do not know Ryan Cohen personally, okay? So don't get it twisted. All right. Oh my gosh. So many people. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah. All right. Matt, Jesus, Ricky. What's up? What's up? FL meeting rates stays the same. I know it's crazy, huh? But yeah. I mean, like, data after data saying people are getting laid off. Consumer has been kind of drying up, right? And this guy comes in, so oh, the economy is still strong and all that stuff. It's like, what? So again, like the Fed has always been late to the game, so we all know that, and so that's why Scott Bessent has another plan, which is to buy Treasury, which is to raise the debt ceiling, right? What does that mean? More inflation, right? Assets going to go higher, and therefore there you go, Bitcoin is the way to go. Gold is going to go higher too, so if you own any real estate, obviously perhaps that's going to go higher as well. But if you don't have the money to buy in real estate outright, you might not even get to own anything. So I'm hoping I'm one of them eventually, right? Because I own GameStop. I mean, how many shares of GameStop should I buy to get a house? Probably 2, maybe 3, eventually. Like when people are comparing dollar amount to houses, and then Bitcoin to houses 10 years ago, that was a crazy comparison. I think back in somebody did that. I think I mentioned that before, where 9 years ago, an average house was like $300,000 or something, and back then you need about 600 Bitcoin to buy that house. Now you only need six Bitcoin to buy a house, right? An average house, okay. And so what do you think is going to happen the next 2 cycle? You probably only need less than 1 Bitcoin to buy a house. And the house is not going to stay, at 600,000. It's probably somewhere close to $1 million there. So yeah, that's the point of inflation and the way that they're devaluing the dollar, right? But against Bitcoin, everything just become cheaper. So that's the whole idea, right? That's the whole idea. And the more people realizing that, the higher the price of Bitcoin would be, because the supply and demand, right? And yes, people are going to try to short it. People are going to try to borrow it. People are going to try to think that they're cute, and they are, going to be just the perfect timers of things, and they're going to borrow Bitcoin, and they're going to try to short it into oblivion. And guess what? Because you can't create more Bitcoin, that's a risk in and of itself. And so if you are borrowing somebody's Bitcoin, you better return it, or else the price is going to run away from you. And so you're going to get blown up. You're going to get, like, what's the hedge fund that 3 Arrow Capital, years ago, that went bust because they're trying to do something cute with Bitcoin, right? So again, And that's why, there's a best case for blockchain, that you cannot naked short something on blockchain. Especially, if you were to run everything on the blockchain, you will be able to track, those transactions and all that stuff, and to, prove the ownership of something there. That, okay, if you let somebody borrow that, you better have something to return it with, right? And the smart contract, this is where the smart contract comes into, where you just execute it. It's like, okay, if you want to short something, you have to have a collateral, okay? And your collateral will be eaten up if you don't return that. So, and if you don't return that, they're going to sell your collateral to buy into Bitcoin, because, again, you need to return that Bitcoin. for example, but I'm sure they're going to try to, ETF Bitcoin to death too, maybe. The same manipulation, right? Okay, so but before that, let's celebrate, what is happening today. I am so happy with that. All right. So everybody is Bitcoin tried to work before. Which one? No, that was like Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, and all that stuff. But those are just people try to copy the success of Bitcoin and trying to modify it, like block size and all that stuff. But it never works, right? People didn't adopt it. For some reason, Bitcoin was the superior one that, people, like, these are like brainiacs, okay? Like computer programmers and nerds, and, they know a lot about cyber security. And the consensus is, since the inception of Bitcoin, is that it has the superior security, encryption, all of that. So, yeah, I mean, that's why, again, it's stand till the test of time, through the test of time. So who knows, maybe AI is going to be able to break it, but by that time, it might be, 100 years from now. That's what I'm hoping. Who knows? But yeah, in the meantime, people are buying it. People are at least accumulating it. I mean, Satoshi came out of silence and stood against some Bitcoin core. Oh, okay. Really? So is that a dot then? You shouldn't be buying Bitcoin? I'm not understanding this. Maybe I'm not catching up with all of that Bitcoin core drama that is happening. Maybe I need to catch up on that, because some kind of hard fork. Okay. Is there a bait and switch somewhere? That this is, I did watch some documentary about how the original software of Bitcoin was actually bait and switch early on. That would be scary thought. So I don't know if this is the second fork or hard fork or whatever it happened. It'd be crazy if, like, it reached $100 trillion and then it just poof out of existence. I don't think so. I mean, there's too many people already kind of downloading the software and all that stuff, so they've been using that same one. And somebody should could have catch something, right? If something is that wrong, I'm sure some computer programmer would have catch it and come out with it already. Or it could have been suppressed too. Could have been suppressed, that information, the truth about Bitcoin hasn't been out. So I don't know, that rabbit hole might be a bit too steep for me to get into, because I don't, even know much on that, because I'm not a computer coder or anything like that. So I wish I do know how to code, so that I know it's like, okay, this is actually what it is. So I'm just gonna leave that to like the nerds out there who, the geniuses of the computer programmers. So in the meanwhile, in the meantime, let's enjoy its price action, huh? All right, so let's, yeah, I think it's gonna continue to go higher. Okay, so let's switch gear real quick here. Now, today trading, not much here, because I feel like they've been waiting on something, right? Stalling, and stalling some more. But where did I say I was gonna fall to? Let me see. I mean, if you do the basic Fibonacci over here, I don't know, just basic stuff. um, Retracement could be over here, right? Or over here. So let's take that out, and there you go. So that's the zone that I'm looking for. Still there. A correction of some sort can happen. Rate hike is not coming. Lowering the rate is not coming. So maybe the yen carry trade and all that stuff. But one left. A surprise should happen too, where if Ron Kitty were to tweet at some point, can send this higher as well. So it doesn't mean that it's gonna come back down here. One tweet could set this off. Okay. Or just one announcement, or again, right here, the next earning report could be the next catalyst over here that they cannot deny. If GME were to add Bitcoin already, and we see that they bought Bitcoin at $70,000, and Bitcoin by that time is going to be traded at what, 200,000? Imagine the calamity that's gonna happen with this stock. So I can't even imagine how high it's gonna be. See what I mean? Now, if they went all in, $6 billion, bought Bitcoin at that at that level, I mean, could not be possible. Then at $250,000, by June. Why 250,000? Well, global money supply, duh. With that chart, obviously, I feel like it's going to give GME that leg up, but it's not gonna happen until that announcement, unfortunately, unless Ron Kitty come before that, right? Posting something or whatever. But again, based on the IV and all that stuff, it seems like they're setting up for something big here, because IV was very low. Historically, IV's been very low lately. So typically when IV is low, people are buying call option, okay? And it's setting up for a spike here. It cannot be that much longer, you guys. I'm telling you, it's pretty close. I don't know, this is just me speculating on Bitcoin announcement here. They may not even buy Bitcoin, you guys, so just be aware of that too. Again, anything about GME, right? Unless I see it on the balance sheets, I would not speculate. See what I mean? And so, while it's fun to speculate on GME, it's better to just leave it alone and, buy it, set it, and forget it type thing. And then whenever it happens, it happens. Don't worry about the date. Who cares, right? If you don't buy call options and you don't have any time horizon and that, as an investor, you should be chill already, Satoshi would know. It's way above my head too. I know, right? I don't know if Satoshi is a group of people even, or just one person. But I think it's more like a group of people. It has to be, right? With the genius way of accounting that. Who knows? But yeah. All I'm hoping is that Satoshi is a good guy. It's like a, good soul over here try to solve real problem. Okay? Not just some evil twist plot to steal humanity of their of the freedom of transaction in the whole world here. But anyway, so let's come back down. Let's stop with the doom and gloom. Everything's gonna be fine. Okay. I want more at yes. I mean, if it's ever coming down, right? But it looks like it's kind of rolling there too. So, let me see. Recent buys. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, people seem to forget, right? Insiders been buying. It's been 3 so far that we saw adding, to their position. We're still waiting on Nat Turner to make some move here, right? That also, yeah, I don't know why. Why would Nat Turner wait so long to add to his position? So it might be something wrong with his psychology, but it's okay. Maybe he needs to see the proof in how many customer can Ryan Cohen get into the PSA graded and all that stuff. Oh, speaking of PSA, you guys, we just reached a million thing. Is it just reach or we already reached it already? But anyway, so when you see like, look at that, people are lining up for stuff in GameStop. I thought nobody shopped there. It's like, what the hell? People are crazy. The fundamental hasn't changed, so I'm chill. Yes, of course. Exactly. So yeah, there you go. So we reached the 1 million. Okay, a graded card. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if they're gonna continue this. Like, okay, the next one would be what, 5 million? The 5 millionth, or just continue with the 1 million every time. So apparently there's they win 4 year of submission or something like that. That's pretty cool prize. Okay. To have. This is just people playing around here. But yeah, people will always look at this. Like, what? Huh? Comparing to Blockbuster and all that stuff. They always do that. Right? Yeah, people are crazy sometimes. They just don't realize what's good in front of them. Right? Just very distracted for sure. Yes. Okay, maybe not turn about the convertible. There you go. That's a good speculation. That's okay. That's cool. But it went pretty quick, so I feel like it was probably just one buyer. Some institution that short GameStop for sure, right? Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, so look at this like estimate. Like, we're gonna beat that. Come on, like 8 cents per share. That's crazy to even like. I don't know who these analysts are. That calculate things. Are they not calculate the interest that comes from the cash pile that we have? I'm not quite sure why they don't kind of account that. So it's flawed for sure. But maybe that's how they are taught to account for something. Only operational gain could be accounted for. I don't know. I have no idea, you guys. But we could comfortably beat that for sure. Comfortably. Okay, hold on. Let me see. But yeah, 8 cents per share, and we want to beat yeah, 750. What is that? This one, right? What was last time? 8. 88, 750. We could possibly beat that. Even the top line revenue. Yeah. I don't see why not. 8 quarter, second quarter. Well, hopefully there's no recession. There's no depressions coming. When people are more layoffs and all that stuff, right? So when that happens, of course, people don't have the money to spend on the discretionary spending. But again, we just sold, a whole bunch of stores to Canada, in Canada. So that's gonna hit the bottom line, this quarter, I think, right? Yeah, it's this quarter. So this quarter hasn't ended yet, but this is first quarter though. First quarter. Yeah, it's already end. But this one, so that sales on Canada, it's not going to show up here. Right. Yeah. Because it ends April. Okay. So then it won't hit the balance sheet then. But still, that means we know, okay, the next earnings report, which is quarter 2, we're going to see those sell there. Not much there. Okay. Chevron, I saw you earlier. I just forgot to shout out to you. But thank you for joining. Not much here, you guys. Like, I know something hasn't changed. Fundamental hasn't changed, just like Michael was saying. So why stressed about it? Okay. The only thing is, like, again, moving forward, right? We know that GME is thinking about buying Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is doing well. And when people are saying it's rat poison, it's this, it's a scam, it's this, and the Democrats is trying to do everything they can to kind of stop this. It's like, why? It creates value to society in some way, okay? Because it stores value that, politician can't. So why are they trying so hard to stop this from happening, and then quoting that, due to Trump's corruption and all that stuff. Okay, so inside trading is happening so many times, before that. It's okay to inside trade on stocks, but it's not okay to inside trade on crypto. That doesn't even have any law behind it. So technically, Trump, even if he's doing some corruption here, what corruption? There's no law against it. There's no law for it, right? And whose fault is that? Because the Congress people don't make policies that make sense. And so why do you blame people who try to take advantage of it? Of course, there's going to be scammers out there. Of course, there's going to be people who are going to try to take advantage of it. Yes, including the president of the United States. I know I would like him to be a little bit more principled, but hey, this is the best we could have right now. Apparently, we can't find a better one to run. But all jokes aside, though, I feel like, this technology should not have been outside of the US at all. They should have regulated so many years ago, or at least not regulate, but having, recognize the freedom that it gets to people. And I think that's the biggest thing, you guys. It's not so much that it is, for scammers and all that stuff. No, it's because it gives people the freedom, to transact with whoever they want. And that's not good for the government because they want control. They want more control. And favors, to the people that benefit the most without, think about it. With Bitcoin, with blockchain, right? There's a whole bunch of steps that it has to be removed. It's like they call it a triple accounting for a reason, right? Triple accounting just means that it's settled instantly, and it's fast and reliable transaction. I think Kathy would kind of explain that, where it removed 8 steps just using Bitcoin network, right, or blockchain, because again, settle instantly. You know who owns what, how many people owns what, right? Just by the software in and of itself. Each wallet, right? You get an accounting there already. So you don't need to like verify it or wait for people to verify whether you have that much money in your account, right? And then banks, institutions, and all that stuff, they checks and balance each other. And typically they do some shady deal with each other too. You think that's not going to happen? They buying each other, toxic asset and then just hot potato it. You think that doesn't happen? Of course it does happen. How do I know that? Well, I've lived here long enough to realize, hey, there's some shady stuff happening in those institutions. Quite often, more than you think. Anywho, but I don't have much to go on. I just came here because Bitcoin. Yeah. Do you have anything? Do we have anything going on with Jimmy right now? I know. Guys, not that I don't care about Jimmy. I feel like, it's a culmination. Okay? It doesn't matter what you own, whether you own Bitcoin or Jimmy, you're going to do fine. You're going to be fine. And, these 2 assets for sure, I feel like I picked the right one, right? And of course, XRP. Well, let me see XRP. Speaking of XRP, I do have a lot. I've been accumulating, you guys. Accumulating. So let's see. Okay. That's surprising. Still, it's 2. Yeah, buy it. Buy it now, you guys. I think again, altcoin is going to kick in, but I think right now, Bitcoin's going to take the dominance first because of the news regarding Bitcoin. So if you miss out on Bitcoin, this is probably the best one. Yet, I also have XLM. I have a little bit more on XLM than XRP. But yeah, it's forming that bull flag thing. Same, you guys. So the breakout is imminent. If Bitcoin go higher, if Bitcoin's gonna reach all-time high again, over $100,000, this is gonna go to. What else? I think I have ADA as well. Now remember, Trump mentioned 5 coins. Okay, 5 different ones. Now I don't know if he mentioned that because they're the largest one. But I think it's worth at least taking a look at, you guys. Okay, he doesn't just mention that just out of thin air. Okay, I think there's some method to his madness too sometimes. Okay, I think people just misunderstand him. What he's trying to achieve for the United States of America. But I know there's some shady deals and it's being happening too. But I think he's different than any other president out there. But let me just leave it at that. Not political at all. it's honestly pretty quiet. Yes, of course, very quiet. But usually that's what, I feel like something is brewing, right? It's like quiet before the storm type of deal here. And typically this is the best time to even like, yeah, something is about to happen. And some big announcement, I think Trump already alluded to that, right? Now, it could be a dud too. It could be just some bombshell and then just boom, drop everything, right? So be ready for that as well. Anything could happen. Maybe this good news is just a last bull trap, to get more people trapped at the top to buy into the S&P 500 to still, stick around. And even though the bad economic data comes in, you don't care because you're like, oh, it's so euphoria. Look, Bitcoin reserves, and then boom, rug pull. Who knows? That could happen too. Now remember the Liberation Day, right? The Liberation Day. So I'm a bit kind of scarred a little bit on that day. Okay, so let's just put a pin on that. The market could crash that day as well when it's a big announcement, right? So people in the know, they already know it already. So somebody's gonna place either a call or a put at some point. Just look out for those, and then you're gonna understand. So it's all about like insider letting them, taking the profit. Okay, all right, you guys, I am going to eat some more. I feel so hungry. I ate earlier, but I feel like I need some more food. Been too much excitement today, I feel. But anyway, so I hope you guys get some new information here and get some entertainment out of it. But I think, this week I feel like it's going to be flat still for GameStop. I don't imagine anything until it's like a calm before the storm type deal. So still be vigilant though. Not to say that just because, it's trading flat, nothing happened, and just forget about it. No. This stock is very potent, and if you don't see the potential by now, I'm sorry. I am so sorry that you don't see it now. But you will have opportunity to add more later, but can't guarantee that it's going to be at $26 a share, though, in what, 5 years? Good luck. Try to get it at $20, $27. Not even under 30, you guys. I don't think it's going to trade under 30. If they announce Bitcoin earnings in this earning time, and just $1.5 billion, the one that they just raised and buy Bitcoin, just 1.5, still immensely bullish. Okay? So, yeah. Pay attention. Buy more if you can, right? Buy more. So let's go. All right. I am going. Okay.